execution was there. We'll see. I cannot put this book down.
Thank you guys.
That's crazy. Hello reader friends, hello book besties, it's your girl Erica, aka Paperback Girly. I thought that I would do another 24-hour reading vlog. Let's just get to the meat and potatoes, right? It is currently May 25th and it is about to be Memorial Day weekend. And so with this holiday weekend coming up, I thought it would be cool to maybe do a little vloggy vlog and try and get to my May TBR. I already decided that there are books on my TBR that I said in the beginning of the month were going to be on my TBR. I just know I'm probably not going to get to. I currently have 4 books besides the one that I'm currently reading that I want to get to in the next 5. How many days left in the month? I'm reading Happy Place by Emily Henry, and this has been a really good read so far. I'm actually pleasantly surprised because I think I did have a little bit of a preconceived notion or opinion on Emily Henry's writing, and this is giving me all the vibes that I really want right now, especially because we're transitioning into summer and this takes place in their college friend group's beach house, and it just is giving such great summer vibes. I'm also kind of liking the relationship that's going on in this book. We'll talk more about this as this vlog goes on, but I do want to try my best to finish this today. We'll see. But I have 4 books on my May TBR that I would really like to get to before the end of the month, and my last month's 24-hour readathon vlog, we were able to get through 4 books. I think I might do the timer method again. Let's talk about the potential 24-hour TBR. Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, Because of Blow by Abby Glines, and then lastly, I would really like to get to Thrive by Kristen Beccarecci. This is another book that I've just been trying to be mentally aware of, to read 1 book a month. We are going to start a timer because I just think the timer method is just more feasible. I've officially finished Happy Place. I'm not sure what I want to rate it, and I feel like I need to take a second to really process how I feel, because I feel like I could give this book 5 stars. I really do feel like I could give this book 5 stars, but there were parts of the book where it didn't feel like a 5-star read. I'm in between a 4.5 and a 5 right now. I feel like there were so many good parts of this book. I really think I connected a lot with Emily Henry's writing in this one. I really got a taste of the banter that people always rave about, and just like the beauty of the way that she chooses to describe things and talk about things. I will say, this book gives such summery vibes. They're doing such fun things. They're going out on boat rides. They're going to the local bars and drinking and having fun with each other and just like living as if they were their younger selves. And I think that it just has such a quaint vibe to it and a very beachy vibe. So I think that this is a perfect read for the summer. I think we're gonna say 4.5 stars, because if it was a 5-star, I think I maybe would be more adamant, because I just don't know. Maybe I need to go hear some other people's opinions on it. Okay. I love it. And maybe that's just me. But I thought I would take some time to formally update the camera. Let's do a little timer check. We're at 16 hours and 30 minutes. So what's the math on that? In 8 hours. That's crazy. I was reading a lot earlier after I finished Happy Place, and I read as far as I could into Because of Low. So we started this and we finished this today. I ran over to my local library, which I need to stop sleeping on the library. Like, I almost checked out 3 books. I only checked out 1 book, but I almost bought like 4 books from the little bookstore sale that they're having. I'm like, oh, I want to read that one, that one, that one, that one, and it just brings back so many different memories. But anyways, I read Because of Low and I rated this one a 4-star, a very solid 4-star. I think I enjoyed about 92% of the book. I think it's just because it's a smaller book. There's only so much you can do in a certain amount of pages, but I feel like even though it's only just under 300 pages, it still elicited an emotional response from me. Also, the crazy twist at the end, I did not remember from the first time that I read it, and whenever I finally put things together, I was like, no way. I definitely figured it out before you find out in the book. I think it was meant to be somewhat predictable. This was such a solid read for me. I liked it. We're just gonna leave it at that. But since then, I've picked up, finally, Part of Your World. I am 50 pages, exactly 50 pages into the book, and I'm already liking it. I literally was laughing out loud, like a verbal laugh occurred whenever I was reading this. And we've also met the girl who will be the main character of Yours Truly. I'm liking it. The timer is at 14 hours. So we're getting close to that halfway mark, 2 hours away from it. I am officially over 50% through this book. I am on chapter 23. I cannot put this book down. From the jump, I feel like I've been so connected to this book and I have so many thoughts. I started it yesterday and I've already made it over 200 pages. So if that's not telling you how much I'm loving it, like, I think this feeling is exactly what I was thinking that I would feel, or that I maybe was wanting to feel towards Happy Place. I'm really liking this book, and we'll talk more about it at the end. I just had to update you because I'm 50% and I'm blowing through this book. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Oh my god. Okay. It is June 10th. I haven't been picking up my camera because the end and beginning of the month for me is just always so chaotic, and it takes a minute for me to sort of get back on my toes, especially after my monthly reading vlogs and my wrap-ups and all the videos that I like to do at the end and beginning of the month. But I have finally caught up and I am ready to continue on filming this 24-hour reading vlog. I spent some time today at an author signing. I saw Tessa Bailey in person and it was such a fun event. It was so cool to see how many people showed up. It was just a fun, amazing time. But we do have some catching up to do in terms of reading. The last time I picked up the camera for the 24-hour reading vlog was whenever I was reading Good Girl Complex, and I have since finished this actually today. I had some time while I was at the author signing event to read and finish up this book. I would definitely recommend it to people, but not 100% like a favorite, something that I would ride by. It did take a lot to get through. I will say this was a solid 3 stars. It gave me the same vibes as Outer Banks. I think this book does offer some chill summer vibes. The tropes that happen though in the book and some of the things that happen in the book just aren't my 100% fave. So while I was there, I had more time to wait and I ended up just starting the first chapter of Unfortunately Yours. This is a recent release and I did get this signed by Tessa Bailey, and it says to Erica, aka Paperback Girly. I wasn't able to film it because they asked us not to film the event. Still have 4 hours and 56 minutes. We are going to definitely chip away at that tonight. I also am going to be attempting to read 200 pages a day for the rest of the month, which, as I'm thinking about it more and more, just sounds very overly ambitious a little bit. But I think it'll push me out of my comfort zone and allow me to strive for a reading goal. We will definitely see how that works out for me in the monthly reading vlog. did take a little mini trip to Vaughn's to grab a bottle of wine. Oh my gosh, I am loving this book so far. The Enemies to Lovers is doing it, and I'm loving the banter between the two people. Natalie and August is the names of the two characters. Because there was so much name dropping of wines and winery and drinking wine, I felt compelled to get my own bottle and glass of wine to sip while I read Unfortunately Yours. It is a Saturday night and I'm not doing anything crazy besides hanging out with you and reading a couple of good books. Currently in Unfortunately Yours. So this is a continuation in a way of the first book. In Secretly Yours, we meet Julian Voss, and he is like the heir of a big winery, Voss Vineyards, which is a big vineyard in Napa Valley, and so they have this legacy attached to their name. Natalie is kind of trying to figure out her own way. She didn't really want anything to do with her trust fund. She didn't want things to be easy, and so she decided that whenever she graduated college that she was going to make her own destiny and swore off her trust fund. Fast forward years later, she is now 30 years old and she wants to start fresh. She wants to start a new business, but she doesn't really have the money to start the hedge fund that she wants. So she goes to her mom and says, hey, you know, like, what do I gotta do to get my trust fund? Don't listen to the words that I said whenever I was 22. I'm 30 years old now. You know, I just need a little help to get started. So her mom basically tells her the only way to get her trust fund is to follow the terms and conditions, or like the contract that her dad had signed way back whenever he enacted the trust fund. And so she goes to figure out what she has to do and finds out that she has to marry in order to get her trust fund. She presents this idea that she would like to have a marriage of convenience with August. And August is also a retired Navy SEAL who is trying to be a vintner, vintner, I don't know. I honestly just learned this word today at the author signing. He is trying to be someone that makes their own wine. He wants to have his own winery, but he keeps going to these like winery contests and losing pretty terribly, losing miserably. So he's ready to wrap everything up. He's ready to leave Napa Valley behind, go start a new life somewhere else doing something new. And that is when Natalie literally proposes to him that they should be married for financial benefit. So I have recently made it to chapter 5, and the end of chapter 4 was whenever Natalie proposed her agreement. Something that I'm absolutely loving about this book so far is that these two characters already have the chemistry and the banter and like the history. I knocked off a pretty significant chunk of the timer earlier while I was reading. We are now at 4 hours and 11 minutes. So I think we can get that down at least an hour. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit sick. I still have 2 hours and 20 minutes left. I just wanted to take a second to update you. Good morning. So I spent some time this morning catching up because in my monthly reading vlog, I've challenged myself to read 200 pages a day for the entire rest of the month, and this started on like the 10th. So it's June 13th. It's only been 3 days, and literally the same day I got sick. But I haven't picked up the camera because I've been feeling gross. I don't want to put myself on the camera whenever I feel like this. I'm almost done with this 24-hour reading challenge, and it's just taken way too long. I need to be better about just getting this stuff done when I say I'm gonna get it done. I loved this book, and I feel like because I was able to go see Tessa Bailey in person and actually like hear her voice and hear her thought process behind her book, like it allowed me to really understand her author voice and like the way that she presented her characters in the book. Yesterday I didn't complete my 200 pages. I caught up to the day before's 200 pages, but I didn't read my 200 pages, and so I read my last 200 pages today. I read 180 pages from this book, and I read 20 pages from our next book, which is The Guncle. So I'm currently on chapter 2 of The Guncle, and this book is a part of another reading vlog that I'm doing where I'm reading Gemini book recommendations. I had a subscriber, I believe her name is Amber, commented on one of my videos and let me know that The Guncle is a good book to read. So I'm very happy that I had that suggestion from her, and that this is not only on my summer TBR but my Gemini book picks video. So now I have like more incentive to want to read it. 2 chapters in, I'm already liking it. I think it has a lot of character already, and I'm loving the Uncle Patrick. He seems like such a genuine character. He was once famous, and so he just seems like like the guy from Will and Grace. I forget his name, but I'm watching Smartless, or I did just finish watching Smartless. Sean Hayes is his name. Like, I'm literally picturing him as Uncle Patrick. I just wanted to update you and let you know what was going on. The timer, I'm almost there, y'all. I'm almost there. We have 1 hour and 24 minutes. This morning I believe it was at 2 hours and 30 minutes. Did my sicky little self just sit here for the last couple hours and read? Yes, I did. We are finally done with our 24-hour reading challenge. We finished a total though of 5 books. Just a little review on all of the books that we read and my final thoughts. I rated Happy Place a 4.5 stars. It was a phenomenal read, definitely gave a lot of summer vibes. I loved the relationship in the book. Because of Low, I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. This is the second book in the Sea Breeze series, and I'm very happy that I finally got to this one. One thing that I'm loving about this series so far is that it takes place in a coastal little beach town. Then I had my first 5-star read of the entire month of May, which was Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I absolutely ate this book up. It's such a magical, beautiful romance story, and it gives like fairy tale vibes. It definitely has a lot of fairy tale and Disney influence, and it talks about one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, The Princess Bride. Then I read Good Girl Complex. I finished this the other day at the Tessa Bailey event. Somewhat put me in a bit of a reading slump. I was reading this book for like over 2 weeks. It wasn't a terrible book, but it wasn't my favorite book. It definitely gives a lot of like Outer Banks vibes. And then lastly, I finished Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey, which was such a great time. I absolutely love this book. This is the second book in the A Vine Mess series. I think the reason why I loved Unfortunately Yours so much is because we got crumbs in bits and pieces of August and Natalie and their connection in the end of Secretly Yours. And so I already knew I was going to eat it up. I already knew I was gonna like it, but the execution was there. Good job, Tessa. If you're watching this, things you did, that. Lastly, I did kind of make a little bit of a dent into the gunk goal. As I mentioned earlier, I'm reading 200 pages a day for the rest of the month, in the month of June, for my monthly reading vlog. And so I made it halfway through my reading goal today. I have made it to the first 100 pages of this book. I'm actually really liking this book, and it's giving me such family vibes. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's funny, it's witty, it's like bridging that gap between like the older generations and the younger generations. It's a really cool story where like very young kids are interacting with like a semi-older man who is their uncle, their gay Uncle Patrick. And I think that this has such a cute vibe to it so far. I feel like there's going to be a lot of character development in the main character Patrick, almost falling in love with his character, who he represents, who he is. He is just unapologetically himself, and he's like educating these little kids on just who he is and how he chooses to live life, but it's so much different than maybe what they're used to, or like the conventional life they've been introduced to. So that is officially the end. We read 5 total books, almost 6. I'm going to try my best the next time that I do a 24-hour reading vlog to do it not at the end of the month, so that I'm not taking huge gaps in between when I start and finish the vlog. I'm honestly genuinely enjoying the 24-hour reading vlogs, because how else am I supposed to get to my TBRs each month? With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video, and I hope you really enjoyed this one. Have a great day.